In this session, we are going to talk about structure and format of news stories, and primarily we are going to look at how to figure out the lead of a news story. Now, finding the lead is something that is extremely crucial when we talk about um, figuring out how the news stories must pan out and what should be the most significant, content that must go out there, and that is what is called as a lead. How do we find a lead? So beginning of a story is for many of us the most difficult part of the writing, right? So beginning at the beginning. Um, when we try to do that, one thing that might happen is we might think that okay, let's start from somewhere, and then it could be easy as we most of the times we perceive, but that's not how it works. So most of the writers may agree that there is no formula to follow in terms of writing a lead. In fact, the problems most often occur when formulaic approaches to any kind of writing happen. The formula exists as a guide, but the writing itself must be based on the demands of a particular story. From our discussion that we have done previously, we already have an idea of the different ways in which an article could possibly be organized. On the past sessions, we have had more or less spoke about organization of news articles, so on and so forth. But even with more or less an outline or a structure, it is sometimes difficult to hit upon the most effective way of opening, a story. So what a lead needs to do is a lead has to do three things primarily. One is it needs to give the reader the main point of the story as clearly as possible. Then it needs to take the reader forward in an ongoing issue. Third is it needs to interest the reader in some aspect of the story by providing some sort of a unique angle or a perspective. So once we have that, then the approach to writing a lead could be somehow fulfilled, or at least the primary objective of the first few sentences are fulfilled, and it draws the attention of the reader. Now, a lead is in news is considered as the main point of a story. It's like a hook that captures your reader's attention and makes them want to delve into the rest of the story. So, first few sentences are crucial, and that is why a lead is supposed to lead the audience or the readers forward. It answers the question, what is the point of the story and what is it about? And most of the times, this is what happens whenever you're trying to pitch a story. People will turn around and ask, is this what the point of your news story is? And once they have figured that out, they will have an idea what this news story is going to talk about. A direct news lead is the opening sentence or sentences in a story that give the reader the basic gist of what he or she will learn about in great details if he or she continues to read. So subsequently, after the lead reading is done, the readers can proceed to the body, and if the lead is not interesting, they might not proceed towards the body. So if you have kept the lead concise, tight, interesting, intriguing, these are the words that are most of the times associated, and staying direct to inform people about what you intend to engage them with, then they will proceed to the further part of the reading. So it is the infamous 5 Ws and 1H that provides us the information that allows you to structure a lead. Okay, let's look at an example, and then we would have some amount of clarity regarding how this 5 Ws and 1H works. Okay, so John stole 1 million from Bank of Canada on Wednesday, January 7th at 2 p.m. The authorities say that he took the money to support a long-time drug habit. Okay, so if this is the lead, then we have to identify what are the 5 Ws and 1H here. Okay, so who is John? What did he steal? John stole 1 million rupees. Where did he steal that 1 million rupees from? He stole it from the Bank of Canada. When did this event happen? It happened on Wednesday, January 7th at 2 p.m. And why did he steal the money? He stole the money because he wanted to support a reported drug habit. Okay, so this is If you are putting this information out, this precisely gives us information about all the 5 Ws. So this is what would be an example of a lead. Now, do you see how easy it is to create a lead to a story that gives the reader the basic information that will be expounded on if he or she continues to read. So once they have an understanding about what this topic could possibly pan out in as far as information is concerned, they would proceed to the next part. The journalist should be practicing the development of leads on regular basis. So as an aspiring journalist, the more you practice leads and how to develop them on regular time to time basis, the easier it will be for you to break into new stories. So whenever you are interviewing, note taking, or even looking for ideas for a story, you should be creating a potential lead in your mind or on paper. So both conscious and subconscious acts of how this lead is going to be. How are you going to open your story? What should be the few opening sentences of your story? This must be going on in your mind if you want to seriously break into news reporting. Are you gathering information to write about a series of break-ins at maybe an elementary school in the area? How is this for a lead? Unknown assailants have illegally entered the 3-grade school building in the last week, causing thousands of dollars in vandalism and stealing electronic equipment. So this is another example of lead, and let's look at the W's. So who gives you an identity of those individuals who are involved in this particular event, that is unknown assailants. We are yet to know who are these people. Okay, what did they do? They staged robberies. Where did this incident happen? It occurred at several elementary school buildings or an elementary school building. When did this happen? When did this event occur? It occurred in the last week. And why did this happen? It happened because to cause vandalism and to steal electronic equipment that they found valuable. So what it does is it allows us somewhere to proceed with the kind of information that the readers in one way. In order to grab the reader's attention, you have to provide them with the most important piece of information in the form of these 5 Ws and 1H. Now, I'm here to talk about the H part, because the how part would also require, an elaborate explanation of a particular incident or an event that you're covering or reporting about, which is something that mostly comes in the body in a lot more detailed way. Most of the times what would happen is you can put that information, to the following part of the story instead of putting it in the lead. So lead rules mostly follow the W questions, and in the body, describe a bit about the H question, that is how. If you want to describe a certain nature of an incident or report about it. Okay. Every story has a lead. So as a journalist, it is your job to create that story. A story would not have a story would not be possible if you are not following a lead. And when you do that, you also engage in the process of organizing and developing a story. Why is it essential to organize and develop a story before you develop a story? Because you are constantly gathering information or collecting information from different sources when you are out there to report on the field. So at such juncture, what is crucial is you constantly keep that in mind, that these are the information that I'm going to put forward in the first paragraph or second paragraph. So if you have processed that information, then it will be easier for you to organize and develop the story. So the more you practice writing leads as well as bodies and conclusion, the better you'll get at writing the news stories. So the more you practice the leads, it will be easier to proceed with the story. And then summarizing the essence of the stories into 5 Ws. So those 5 Ws work as guiding pathways for you to navigate through the entire information that you've collected. So you are using them consciously and subconsciously, constantly to fill in information. So once you have a basic structure and outline about what then so, and this can happen at any given point in time. You can do this while standing in line at a grocery store, um, while thinking about the story, or waiting in traffic, because it's all about those 2 to 3 lines. And then subconsciously, if you organize that information, it will be far easier for you to just put that information out. So before you know it, the process will be your second nature. This process of um, proceeding from news gathering or information gathering to uh, subconsciously creating a basic outline that would offer you the lead would become a second nature. And by the time you have some sort of experience in terms of um, reporting or writing about news stories, you would have mastered one of the most basic skills of journalism, that is lead writing. So this gives us a basic understanding about how a news story structure should be. And to begin with, in the next session, we are going to talk in details about the 4 different ways, or the 4 different structures of format that regular news stories follow um, whenever we are looking at news writing or reporting for that matter. So I'll stop here